Would you please do the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Gumpel?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion to adopt the agenda for the regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Passes unanimously. And would you like to do the roll call? Okay. Would you please do the roll call?
Director Ellithorpe?
Here.
Director Hernandez?
Here.
Director Martin?
Here.
Director Sinala?
Here.
Director Evans?
Yes. Okay, our first item is a presentation by Chris Robbins of our Week Without Water video contest winner.
Yes, so this is very exciting. The Vallecitos Water District partnered with Palomar's Gear Up office and then Menchie's Frozen Yogurt to put out a video contest for high school, middle school students to do a video on a week without water. And it's basically an effort to get drought messaging out and make people understand the value of water. The contest theme was to create a video about what life would be like without tap water and have our users really get a feeling for what it would be like if you really didn't have it. If you didn't have tap water there every day, what would your day be like? The contest was open to the middle school, high school students in our service area, and 16-year-old Mission Hills High School student Ariana Arango was our winner. Come on up here, Ariana. And with her is this your niece?
She's my cousin.
She's her cousin, Natalia, and Natalia is also in the video. You get a chance to see both of them. Come on up here. Ariana produced the 2 videos, and I think Diane has them queued up for us, and let's take a look.
Where do you think water comes from? Help plants. How does it help plants? Do you think water helps you grow?
The average water container used in Africa is the jerry can. The standard 5-gallon jerry can weighs about 40 pounds when full. Women and girls younger than 15 are twice as more likely to go fetch the drinking water with households that have none. If we use the same tactics to gain our drinking water as those used in Africa, and say our reservoir was Lake Hodges, from my home in San Marcos, it would take around 2 hours to walk there and 2 hours to walk back. Say you didn't feel water was that important. After only a day
So Ariana has won a $500, it's not a gift certificate, $500 prize from the district for her effort. And then she also wins from Menchie's Yogurt, and I've got Bethany Levine here from Menchie's at the Grand Mall right on Las Posas. Basically a six-pack party, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's a
Different kind of six-pack, right?
It's a little young.
so you and 5 friends can have and have free yogurt there.
Congratulations. And we also have Gear Up staff here. We've got Teresa Cisneros Remington, and then also Abby and Sonia, and they are here. They have a, through the Gear Up program through Palomar College. Is it the sweatshirt or? Is it, oh, it's, okay, it's all rolled up. Okay, I'm getting it. And then they have a presentation as well.
There you go. Good luck, congratulations, and thank you for being a role model for anybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd like to get, we'd like to get a picture. Is it okay to have the board come down with Ariana? Would that be all right?
You bet.
Y'all amenable? Terrific. Grace, you got camera? Oh, you know what? And for our little sunflower. Trish, go ahead and get in. Let me get in. No, I think board photo or. Make sure Natalia's got that off to the side.
Okay, ready?
Come on, Jim.
Good. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Yeah. A big gift pack. And the exciting thing is, yeah, that's coming. The the checks in the mail. We had to get the W-9 form filled out, so you know how that goes. The exciting thing that's also going to happen is we are going to have her video uploaded on Facebook, on Twitter, on the district's website, and then also over at San Marcos TV. So one last time, Ariana and Natalia.
Thank you, Vera and Nancy, for supporting this wonderful idea. Thank you for great ideas on our vision and wonderful things. You were very good too.
Thank you, guys.
That's exciting to hear it's going to be on the TV as well. So very nice. Good job.
We'll submit to the Grammys.
Okay, next we have oral communications. At this point, I don't have anyone. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak at this moment?
Well, looks like you got somebody.
I do.
was wondering if it was dead.
Mike Hunsaker, San Marcos. There is a movement among the Indian casinos to start raising and selling marijuana on the casinos. Marijuana is a very heavy user of water. It's one of California's biggest crops, although illegal. And there's also a movement to add to their water supply, which would facilitate such growth. I'm particularly concerned about what is happening in Lake Henshaw. Much of the water that was formerly going to the Indian casinos was reclaimed water from the lining of the canals. However, there is a push now to take additional water because of the drought to feed these Indian industries. I think if we're not getting the water, and we don't have enough water for ourselves, that giving even more water, which is not taken care of, compensated for elsewhere, is a disaster for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have our consent calendar. We'll pass this as one motion, unless there's an item to be pulled. Do we have a motion for the consent calendar?
Move to approve.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. It passes unanimously. Okay, the first item under action items is item 2.1, and we do have a speaker. Mike Hanslicker, would you like to speak first, or would you like us to?
Tom?
You'd like to speak?
Dennis or Tom?
That's fine.
I'm an IT
Remind
guy.
me.
I'm frozen and I can't get into it.
Pardon?
I was explaining to staff that my computer is frozen, I can't get into it.
Uh-oh.
So I'm missing some things that I would normally like to bring up.
Well, would you like us to take a moment and wait? Let's do that.
Are they coming?
Well, yeah, they went together. It says, and you've always, software update, clues and details, and I've been told whenever not to touch that.
Are your questions
that you
on
can
coming
touch
items
that.
or past something
It
we've already
won't do
taken?
anything.
Is it on an upcoming item?
Were they consent?
Were they consent
It's-
calendar?
Well, it wasn't a consent calendar, but that's past us now, so.
Okay. Well, the item before you now is actually a presentation from Carl. We did invite him to come to the board on behalf of the board's direction. He does have a brief presentation I believe Diane has ready for you, and with that, I'll turn it over.
Well, good afternoon. Carl Morgan, CEO, San Diego North Economic Development Council. I thank you for the opportunity to come before you today to tell you a little bit about our organization, who we are, and what we do. I have provided you with a pretty extensive packet of materials in one of our San Diego North brochures, along with a copy of today's presentation, so you don't have to take copious notes. Who we are, we're a dynamic group of public and private organizations that are working together to strategically grow North County. We have a 24-member board of directors. Our San Diego North EDC is a 501c6, and we also established a 501c3 recently to continue doing other economic development work. That's called the North County Economic Development Corporation. The great thing about establishing that new entity is an opportunity for us to qualify for essentially every grant that's out there, and we're certainly focused on grants that are going to help our region, you know, infrastructure, education, workforce, economic development. This is our board of directors. We have a 24-member board of directors. You can see our officers and executive committee, and then also our directors going down. The ones that I'll kind of point out is we recently, and we're very proud of, we got the cities of Encinitas, Oceanside to join our organization. And then we also have the city of Poway joining us in July. So City Manager Dan Singer has agreed to join our organization. Ultimately, what we want to do is grow this board to about a 40-member board and make it completely reflective of all of our key industry clusters that I'll talk about in just a minute. What we do, it's economic development, job creation, and coordinated infrastructure investment. So we work through our public policy committee to support and put in on the top burner and top of mind key infrastructure projects in North County. We also showcase and spotlight our North County's assets and attributes, and we do that a number of ways. We do that by convening diverse groups of folks and having conversations about issues and things that we can do in North County. We also have a North County Visits Journal that we created, and we've done 6 issues of that. We print 10,000 of those. The most recent copy is in your brochure. And then we also email or mail those out to folks in North County. We also do a lot of community engagement and spearheading particular initiatives. One that we'll be doing this year will be connecting our will to work and our educators together to look at the curriculums and the need for changes in the curriculum to match the current needs and future projected needs. We'll also be spotlighting the need to create additional housing in North County, because as you know, we're not building enough housing. And the other will be taking our business journal both national and international distribution via a digital vehicle. So we'll no longer be doing the, I'll call it the 2004 print model. The map that you see up now is the communities we serve. We serve 26 communities, 9 incorporated cities, and the balance are unincorporated communities. So we have 1.13 million people in North County, And if you compare that to San Diego, city of, there's 1.3 million. So we're really close to that population number. We're home to 26 cities and unincorporated communities. We have 35% of the overall population in San Diego County, 443,000 jobs in North County. And there's a few other stats there. One that I thought was pretty interesting, that 42% of San Diego County's 2012 patents have inventors that live in North County. So obviously, we're pretty critical thinkers up in North County. This is a snapshot of our investors going across, and you can see a really good cross-section of having the educators, a good cross-section of our brokerage community, medical cluster, and a number of developers, banks, and financial institutions. And we're very proud of the folks that are a part of our organization. These are our key industry clusters in North County. So you can see that connected tourism and agriculture is one of our largest. That constitutes about 67,000 jobs in North County. Biomedical, healthcare, two of the others, sports and active lifestyle, ICT, and the biomedical and biotechnology are really growing quite a bit in North County. This is a slide that just shows the employment numbers going down the middle of the page. You can see the employment numbers going from connected tourism down to education, and then the average earnings per job in that. And we also do a weekly pulse that some of you may get. That goes out to over 5,000 folks, and what we do is spotlight the issues and things that are going on in North County, from beer festivals to the drought, and doing a series. We did a series of 3 water issues in our last, I want to say in July, in our pulse, and we'll continue to do that. It's a really great vehicle to spotlight and showcase our region and coordinate some efforts. There's our business journal. As I said, we did 6. The traditional model that we were using was spotlighting CEOs in the different industry clusters, and then sending those out, and then doing CEO roundtables to launch each of those magazines. And we'd usually have between 100 to 150 folks at those CEO roundtables. Upcoming events, we have our 2nd annual North County Economic Summit. That's going to be March 10th. Last year, we had 380 people at the Carlsbad Sheraton. We have Mark Ventnor with Wells Fargo Bank coming in and doing a national, state, and San Diego kind of look. And then we had Josh Williams with PW Research look at specifically all of our key industry clusters and do some forecasting. Both those folks are coming back this year. Attendees receive a really nice breakfast, great venue, and $60,000 worth of reports on a thumb drive. So it's a really great event. So hopefully you guys will be participating in that. This year we're also working with our healthcare industry, going to do an aging seminar to talk about some of the things that are going on and latest treatments in Alzheimer's and other things. And then we'll be doing a connected tourism conference in October, which is bringing all the folks that are in that tourism industry to really put North County on the map, working with those folks that set up events and sometimes step over North County and go south to the city of San Diego. And then we'll wrap up the year with our Innovation to Market Annual Business Luncheon, which we do on an annual basis. You've been a good supporter of our organization. We appreciate that. I put a few points together why I think it would be great for you to become a board member. There's a strong network of business, community, and governmental leaders that you tap into and connect with, both at our investor meetings and at our signature events. It's an opportunity to influence decision-making in terms of what the organization does on a go-forward basis. Have access to our weekly Pulse North County presentations at our San Diego North EDC meetings. And we have investor meetings the 2nd Thursday of every month, excepting December, which is dark. And then prime media coverage in our North County Business Journal. And we will be focusing on water again this year because we still have a drought issue. And there's also high-profile branding at SDNEDC signature events that I'd mentioned before. And with that, I thank you for your time and attention, and I welcome any questions you might have.
Okay, do you have any questions? Yes. Director Martin, I'll follow with you, Director Sinella.
I have a few.
Okay.
And I don't want to rain anybody's parade, but when this came up to us, it was a question of dollars and cents, and it's ratepayers that pay us all of our money. We don't get money from anywhere but ratepayers. And what does it mean to our ratepayers is the question. I remember not that many years ago when you were forming, I sat on a different body, and we were asked to contribute X amount of dollars, and it was really difficult to make that decision, and we worked on it, and we came up with that amount of dollars. We're one of 2 cities in North County that did, the rest didn't. And what we were told at that time was this group was going to be going after large funding from the federal government with SEDS money. And because the South County EDC, the East County EDC, the Central County EDC had already gotten money, that we're creating the North County EDC, yet another layer, to get our share of the SEDS money. So, first I want to know how much SEDS money have we received from the federal government to continue along with this? And then I want to know, I know we have one of the GMs, Kim, on your board, but how many other people belong from water districts in North County? Because we all service different districts. So there's a few you can start with.
Okay, well, I'll start with the last one. Olivenhain and Vallecitos are the 2 that are members of our board. Those are the only 2 that I'm aware of at the moment. What you're referring to is the comprehensive economic development strategy that was done before I got here. I want to say that was done in 2010. I started here in 2012, December of 2012. My understanding of that process was there was an extensive outreach process. The city of San Marcos and the city of Escondido both put $20,000 of money into creating that comprehensive economic development strategy. The footprint of that program was the 78 North. Our boundary now is the 56 North, so it goes substantially further south. We do have a certified SEDS that was created as part of that. We also have a prosperity on purpose map that was created. That is all the general plans and zoning information for that area that I described. We're in the process of retooling that map to be able to use it for all of North County, and that'll be coming out in the next couple of months. In terms of grant dollars that we've gone after, one of the key things I touched on is we're a 501c6. And as a 501c6, if you want to go ahead and look into grants, the first thing you look at is what do you have to be to qualify for grants? Typically, it's a 3. A 6s qualify for very few. So I don't know what the dialogue was that took place in 2010, the promises that were made. It was before my time. What I can say is we've gone after every grant that we possibly could qualify with the 501c6 today. And I want to say that we brought in somewhere around $250,000 while I've been here. And that's in community enhancement grants through the county, neighborhood revitalization program grants, grants through SDG&E, and a few others. But for the most part, we have not gone after it. With the new 501c3, my plan is to hire a grant writer and start aggressively going after grants. But that's under the North County Economic Development Corporation. Was there another question?
I'm guessing that means through the SEDS program that we were told about. Maybe it's not existing anymore, but we didn't receive a dime, is what you said.
It still exists.
But we're not getting any money from it.
The SEDS is still a certified SEDS, and it actually is a valuable tool to go after grants. The difficulty that we had was the 501c6 didn't qualify for those grants. The 3 does. So on a go-forward basis, we're going to be in a much better position. And we're going to be looking to partners like you and others to work with to actually pursue those grants for our region.
And just out of curiosity, we haven't received any SEDS money, but I know South County did, East County did, and the city did of San Diego. How did they do it? Were they not a 501c6? Were they a 501c3?
Well, I can tell you that regional is a 6 and a 3. They did a 501c3 foundation.
Which one?
The regional EDC.
Okay.
I'm not sure about South County and East County. I'm assuming that they have a 3 as a part of their organization. We were only a 6 until September of last year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Director Sinai?
Yep. Thank you, Carl, for giving us this presentation and taking time to come and talk to us tonight. A couple of little clarifications. You had mentioned that there were a couple of water investors already in your group, us being one of them historically, and then Olivia Hain. Do I understand correctly too that San Diego County Water Authority is an investor as well?
If they're on this slide, they are. Yes.
Okay. That's good. And then you'd also mentioned that you had done a 3-part water series last summer in one of your email blasts that I had a chance to look at over the last couple of weeks, and I thought it was very informative. I think I recall that I saw something just recently, an article that you put out on it was either Encina or Poseidon.
Yes.
Does that ring a bell? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We're actually having for our next public policy meeting, we're having a presentation by a group about growing, fish in the ocean, right, and in a farming kind of capability. So it's kind of cutting edge stuff, and they're going to come do a presentation at our public policy committee. I think they're asking for us to be supportive of that. And then depending on what happens at public policy, that may wind up going to our investor meeting as well.
Okay. And then, sorry, the 5 or 6-parter.
All right.
To kind of echo on Director Martin's comments, obviously, your group, although I personally see a lot of value in what you're doing, and I think that this is a worthwhile partnership to explore. You may or may not know this, but this is the 3rd board meeting in a row that we've actually discussed this partnership, and so you probably don't know that.
No.
So not everybody, I think, on the board agrees that that there's enough emphasis on water, and you'd mentioned in your presentation that one of your goals in this upcoming year is to put a little bit more focus on water given the drought. Can you elaborate a little bit further on that?
Well, what I will say is that we pride ourselves in working with our partners and making sure that we're adding value for your investment in our organization. And clearly, we would utilize the vehicles. We would sit down with you and figure out what those conversations need to be and what the opportunities are for us to get that message out. We're certainly, we're a nonprofit, we're a 501c3 and 6, and our charge is what's good for North County is good for North County, and that's what we're here. We're your economic development corporation and council. So we sit down with each of our investors and make sure that that's the case. So whatever level you might choose to be a member of our organization or partner, that's entirely up to you and your business decision. But I do believe that the organization as it sits today is dramatically different than it was 24 months ago when I walked in the door. And it's continuing to grow and go in a lot of new directions. And my commitment to you and all of our investors that we will continue to do that. So I welcome the dialogue and further communication with you in terms of what we can do to move that forward.
Thank you.
One more question, then I'll have some more at the end. But
Okay.
thank you. Of the other 2 water agencies that are your current investors, have you ever had any conversations over the years with their participants in your group as to why they participate, what value they see, where the connection is between the EDC and their agencies?
Yeah, I think it's really being a part of a regional organization, right, that has a number of different touch points in the community, not only at the city level, but at the county level, the state and federal level. So I think the value added there is really that opportunity. And the other is that, we as a 501c3 nonprofit, we can convene conversations with different groups that sometimes are more difficult for you as an individual water district, right? So we can do a more regional approach, and we can convene that dialogue and have that conversation and use the vehicles that we have to deliver that message. And we certainly want to partner with you to do that, and would continue to do that. And water is top of mind today and will continue to be until such time as we have enough of it.
Thank you. Do you have any comments, Director Hernandez?
No, I think I'll wait till after we
Do you
close
have any?
public.
Dr. Ellie? Director Harp?
Yeah, I see a lot of value in sponsoring this organization. I'm just a little, I guess I'm a little bit confused on the different sponsorship levels and kind of, what each means as
You would
far as-
like an explanation of the levels?
Yeah, if you have a brief.
Yeah, I actually, there's a little trifold in your brochure there that has a card inside the trifold, and there's 4 levels, essentially 3 levels. So our board of directors have a $20,000 give-get pledge. 5,000 of that is membership dues. 5,000 is sponsoring signature events like the Economic Summit or the Annual Business Luncheon. And then they agree to bring in up to a $10,000 investor over the course of the fiscal year, meaning either a new board member, 2 $5,000 members, or 4 $2,500 members. The lowest level of our organization is a $2,500, as you can see on that card. The second is a $5,000, and then it goes to a $10,000. Certainly, we have groups that put a lot more money than $10,000 or $20,000 into our organization because they see the value of investing in a regional economic development council or corporation.
Thank you.
If I may ask, my understanding from the San Diego County Water Authority is that they are a member and they're an investor at $1,500 level, that they do a table sponsor, which you're saying technically is not a level available to us?
Well, as we have grown the organization, looking at it being, its fiscal nature, when I walked in the door, there was a lot of change that needed to be done, both structurally, internally, and externally, to grow the credibility, the relevancy, and the viability of the organization. So we sat down and we looked at all of the other EDCs and what they charge and what we thought we could reasonably bring into the organization that were reasonable levels. And so over time, we've transitioned from those $1,500 levels to a $2,500 level. There are still some organizations that choose to do the $1,500 and then they, sponsor a table at one of the events. That's not, that's not an option that we, Karen Pearson, our Director of Investor Relations, that's here with me, that's not one that we talk about when we first, go out and meet with someone. Our new levels are the $2,500. We're trying to bring everyone that was at the $1,500 level up to the $2,500 minimum.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt, because actually, on the $2,500 level, how does that compare to the $10,000 level?
Well, the $10,000 level, and I don't have all the details at the top of my head, and I'm sorry I didn't bring the brochure, but I can send to each of you the investor packet. We did actually send one over to you in advance of the meeting, and it has the details under each one of those levels.
Those were in the last board packet.
That was in your last
We did
board
have it in the
packet.
last board packet, and I do have a copy of that here.
Mhm.
Would the board members like a copy made? Do you have it? Do you have any benefit?
I know it.
Hmm?
I'm good, I know it.
You have one?
I'm familiar with it.
Maybe just pass it around.
Yeah. Essentially, being a board of director, you're a board member, and with that comes responsibility to the organization and an opportunity to be a part of the decision-making process of the organization. When you're a $5,000 investor or a $2,500 investor or a $1,500 investor, you're essentially, investing in the organization for continuing its mission across the spectrums that we talked about, at whatever level you might choose to go through. I'm happy to go through the bullet points on that piece of paper if you'd like.
I think, I've personally seen it, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Does that help you, Director Ellison?
Yes, I have it.
Yeah, I didn't put that in the PowerPoint because I assumed that you'd already had that information from the last
Let me ask.
communication.
Just a point of clarification.
Yes. Director
With the document that was passed out seems to be more about the sponsorship levels pertaining to the summit, an individual event, versus an overall sponsorship. Do I understand that correctly? Just so everybody makes sure.
The piece of paper that you have in your hand, if you'll flip it around. Yeah. That's for the Economic Summit, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I can see
I
why
didn't want
you'd
there to
be-
be any confusion that that's actually just for one of their events that they have.
Yeah. This is actually for the Economic Summit that's coming up. So this is not, this does not pertain to the
Board of
San Diego
Directors.
North Board of Directors. That little card that I had in that tri-field brochure
That's what I was confused.
are the
about.
levels. I can see
That's
why
the
you'd be
levels.
confused. Yeah, sorry about that.
Director Hernandez, did you have a question?
I was gonna ask, I've got the one that is not the Investor Summit, but, and I'll just ask the question. At the $2,500 level, you are a participant, and do I understand you also receive a complimentary table, or is that in addition to the $2,500 level?
It would be in addition to the $2,500 level,
I see.
as I recall. So,
Any further questions? Director Martin?
Yeah, okay, so if you, I get the idea of pay to play. I don't like it, but I get it. So if we're $2,500 and then we buy a table, how much is a table, roughly?
well, it depends on the,
1,500? And you buy a table, that still doesn't get you to where you need to be in order to have someone from your organization as a board member.
right, to be,
What does it take, how much you have to pay to be a board member?
in,
Guess that's the easy way to ask you.
Board of Directors agree to a $20,000 give-get pledge annually.
Wow.
Right, so that's $5,000 in membership dues as we currently sit, $5,000 in sponsorship of events, meaning annual business luncheon, economic summit, or whatever other CEO roundtable, whatever that might be. And then they go into their Rolodex and either give Karen and I warm leads for a company that would come in and become a board of director, or a couple at 5,000 or four at 2,500. And that's their commitment as a board of director.
So it's essentially, and I'm sorry, I'm talking to the audience, I'm Karen Pearson, so it's essentially a $5,000.
Karen, could you come up and speak with the microphone,
I deal with
please?
this all the time. So it's essentially a $5,000 monetary, that's your membership. The other $5,000, that's the $10,000 real board amount. You can use any way you want with, maybe you have a water, we do a water forum, you sponsor that, or a economic summit, you buy a table. So you have $5,000 you can use throughout the year, the aging. The extra $10,000 is really referral. We're not gonna have you write a check for an additional $10,000 that makes it to 20. It's really just giving us names of other people that you might know, and then we do the rest. So we're just asking for that. It's not an actual you write a check. So it's really 5,000 membership, and then the other 5,000
Okay, great.
is to use for events and
So
programs that would.
by someone asking me, for instance, to join, they're looking
Right.
to get a
And then you'll
referral.
get credit for that.
Credit for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sales tool.
Yes.
Exactly, it's a business development tool. And on the pay-to-play side of things, I've heard that term before.
it is.
Our investor meetings are open to the public, so you're welcome to come to our investor meetings at 7:30 in the morning at the Tri-City Wellness Center, whenever you would like.
Madam,
Yes, Director Hernandez.
the last portion of the $20,000, the referrals.
Mhm.
If the referrals don't come through,
Right.
then what happens?
Well, there isn't
Penalty.
something that says you have to write a check for 10,000. Typically, what happens at the end of the year, and I hate to say this, but I will, that just kind of evaporates and we go to the next fiscal year. And it's really kind of peer pressure among the board that they, look at each other, and you're on board and you've been on board, so. But no, there isn't a requirement that you cut a check for 10 grand at the end.
Director Martin.
So you've only been there 2 years. How many board members have you had to put the hook to and throw them out because they haven't come up with the money? Or you and the CEO, I know. And I'm saying it rough, but it's the way it is.
All I will say is this, when I walked in the door just over 2 years ago, I believe we had a 19-member board. We changed out 14 members of the board and we added another 5 or 6. So we're now at a 24-member board. So there was a lot of change that took place in the organization. The folks that you see on this investor slide up here, they weren't, maybe a third of those were on as a part of this organization at that time. So there's been a dramatic change going to the positive of the organization. And as I said, we'll continue to grow it in that direction.
Director Martin.
From what I gathered, and granted, you weren't with the program when I was with another organization that was,
Mhm.
and got taken, but it was a different program, different board. But we heard a lot of the same that you're saying today. And the interesting part is that you brought up housing and the need for housing, which tells me there's some developer-driven going on in the background of all this. When
No.
you start talking about housing as a focal point, it's developer-driven.
Well, from housing, one of the programs of the 501c3 is not developer-driven. When you look at economic development, a healthy economy has a whole broad spectrum of things. It's not just retail, it's not just manufacturing. It's parks and open space, it's quality of life, it's education. And what I'll say is, what I've learned is that here in North County and in San Diego County and in other places, we're not building enough housing. Our children can't afford to live here. Folks that come here to work that are recruited can't afford to buy a home. And so what happens is you have a brain drain. These companies train the individuals, spend 3 or 4 or 5 years of investing, and then at some point they decide they want to raise a family and buy a home, and they have to move away. That's something that I think should be the charge of an economic development council. It's not developer-driven. It's really about that overall quality of life in North County, which is our focus.
Yes, Director Martin.
If I may continue. And I appreciate that, and I mean, that's your job to do what you're doing, and you do it very well, Carl. I've told everybody, Carl's very good at speaking to people about what, and I get it. I guess my question boils down to watching it over the past few years. No SEDS money came in, not a dime. That was before your time, but the same organization. I assume you have some of the same board members. I'm just wondering, and again, there's so many groups, you know, and as a disclaimer, I now actually work for the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce, as a disclaimer. But prior to 6 months ago, I never did, but I always had the same train of thought as I do now, is we used to have a Chamber of Commerce, and then we had, to come and save us, the Greater San Diego Chamber of Commerce. They were here to say, you don't need to belong to the local one, you need to belong to the bigger one. Then we had the EDC, San Marcos EDC. Oh no, now we have South County, East County. There's a lot of organizations out there duplicating and triplicating from 100,000 feet, from 50,000 feet, and then a local chamber is at 2,000 feet. They deal with just their people. So I'm just noticing the amount of 501c6s and C3s out there saying they do the same thing, only we're more regional. And if a biotech company comes to speak to you, there's no doubt where they're going to be put. They're going to be in your biotech cities. And talking to the mayors from many of these cities, I understand they all like the idea of it. When it comes down to brass tacks, that isn't the way it goes.
Well, when we get a cold call from either a recruiter, a site selector, or a broker, what we do is we make that contact and we make sure that information goes to the cities. And if there are opportunity sites that they want to put forth, we ask them to do that, and then we make that connection. And that's it in its simplest form.
And one last thing, I promise.
Last one,
Last one.
Scouts Honor.
Is I attended your economic summit, both of them, but the one, I think it was 2 ago, where you had Karen Haynes and you had the SDO Center for the Arts. You had Karen Haynes, and you had all the people that were running the colleges.
That's the annual business luncheon. That was the year before in fact, yeah, that was the year
You were
before.
there.
Well, I was, but I hadn't started work
Oh, okay,
officially yet. That was
you-
December 6th.
But you were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was. I remember the dialogue.
Well, and I sat there as a business person listening, and you had some of the top companies in North County. And I watched the top companies in North County beg and plead that they needed engineers. And I watched the top educators in the county say, oh, no. We're teaching philosophy, we're teaching. And then, instead of being a good dialogue and it was like, oh, well, it was a great talk. We had a lovely time. I went, no one listened to what the other one was even saying. The educators haven't changed anything. They're still not teaching engineering, which is what all the businesses were asking. So other than a forum to kumbaya, hold hands, feel good, What did it accomplish?
Well, I think what it did is it put the conversation on the radar screen. And now we've taken it to the next level, which is, it's one of the 3 programs that our nonprofit 501c3 is going to tackle this year. We're going to convene a conversation. We actually started at the end of the year. We had an education roundtable at Miracosta College as a part of our launch of our education business journal. And there was a dialogue. That video is up on our website. That is the stepping off point or the springboard for this next conversation, where we're going to bring the K through 12 through the 4 years together, have a conversation, because their vernacular and definitions, you know, when they're talking, it's a certain type of conversation. Whereas if you go talk to the business community, they speak a different vernacular. And so we're going to talk with the top tier business companies as well. We're going to distill that information down, do it through surveys and then meetings, and then bring the 2 together and actually come up with some actionable steps, because we need to do something about the curriculum. We need to make sure that we're meeting the skill set needs for our current workforce, jobs that are required, and projecting for the future. And that's one of the things, one of the charges that we've signed on to do. So.
Director Snell.
Yep, just one more question before we finish up the public comments. Carl, I did have a chance to go to your annual meeting back in December, and that was actually the first time I'd ever had any interaction with your group. And what got me so excited and really saw what made this worthwhile in my mind is that even though it was a biotech-themed luncheon,
Right.
The conversation kept going back to water. Either they were talking about breweries and some of the recycling and innovation that they're doing. There was a general manager from one of the biotech companies that said that their #1 priority in 2015 was to reduce their water footprint. And I saw that as an opportunity. Light bulbs started going off in my head that, hey, this is where we need to be. One of our goals, and we're united as a board and put a lot of time and resources into for this year, is public outreach. And I see a group such as yours not only being educational for the board members, for all of the board members and any staff that do attend any of the events, but I also see it as a key component of our public outreach opportunities. And I just wanted to say, thanks for putting that on, and I'm really excited about the possibilities in this coming year, and to hear you say that you want to have a focus on water. So to that end, I just wanted to clarify, because as you can tell, I'm sure from having this conversation,
Right.
This is a very cost-sensitive group. We recognize that we're not. This is not our own house money. We're using ratepayers' money, and we're sensitive to that.
Understood.
One of the things I wanted to clarify from Karen's remarks is that if we did choose to go with that $10,000 level, and we had the $5,000 upfront commitment, the second $5,000, did I hear correctly that we could actually use that to host like a water conference or a symposium?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it doesn't have to necessarily be buying a table or?
No,
Okay.
we could sit down and come up with, who would that be, that group that we want to convene, and put that together, and then you could be the primary sponsor of that event.
Okay, so that I wanted to, that's what I thought, but I wanted to clarify, and I wanted the rest of the board to hear that, because it reminds me very much of what we did recently with the San Marcos Chamber of Commerce, where we hosted them so we could be with the community, and we talk about that a lot in the last 6 months, of getting more and more out in the community. This is even I think a better opportunity where we could tap into the business, their membership and the businesses in North County, host a water-specific symposium or conference or whatever we want to call it, and really get to the audience that we're trying to engage.
And we could even take that a step further. I mean, we could use the weekly pulse, which we've done before. That's a great tool to get that word out, get that messaging out, and do a series on water. We could also devote a significant portion of one of our business journals to that, and make that correspond with the water event. So, yeah.
It sounds like there's a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, I mean, we're happy to sit down with you and map that out.
Super. Thank you.
Thank you. We have I'm sorry, you promised, so you'll have to ask Craig to do it for you.
One more quick question for clarification.
Okay, and then after you, I would really like Hernandez, and then I would
No,
like
no, I'll wait.
our public to have a chance.
No, I'll wait till we have our board dialogue.
Okay, Director
So,
Martin.
if you had a member that wanted to be a board member, all they need to do is commit to you that they're gonna raise $20,000. It doesn't matter what level they come in at.
No, that's not, I don't think that's the case.
That's how I got it.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Repeat it, please.
What I'm looking for in a board member, and remember I said 14 of them are no longer on the board. I'm looking for board members that have their sleeves rolled up, that are committed to the organization, to growing the organization, bringing their time, talent, and treasure to the organization. Now, if someone says, hey, Carl, I'll write you $1 million check, and you call me once a month or once a year, hey, I'm not going to turn down that money.
They get the gold
All
check.
right, I'm not going to,
Okay.
right? And they're going to have a seat at every event.
Yep.
But really what I'm looking for are really quality organizations that believe in doing what's best for North County. And having a broad spectrum of investors and board members that are reflective of the companies and the organizations in North County. That's important to me and to our organization and to our board of directors. So, we believe that you're one of those. Hopefully we can figure out a way to partner and grow the relationship. And that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. Director Public.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Great presentation.
Oh, sorry.
Michael Hunsaker.
Mike Hunsaker, San Marcos. Water is a key issue. We live in a water-restrained environment. We have just gone through a desalination process, and we're supposed to have a reserve for rate stabilization. Yet what we hear is there's going to be a big emphasis on new housing. Well, where's the water going to come from? Is our rate stabilization fund going to be completely depleted to provide water for these people? Do we make the situation even less stable and completely destabilize rates? These are large investors, and one of the biggest problems in the U.S. has been the large-scale transfer of wealth from the lower and middle classes to the upper class. The billionaires, the 1%, however you want to call them. One of the ways they've been doing this is by getting preferential treatment out for grants and money to pay for their infrastructure. I think that for us to pay to be a member of a lobbyist group, essentially, is inappropriate. There may be a wide scale, a wide range of commercial interests, but these are large companies. Our problem is we don't have enough small businesses which produce jobs. Large companies produce mostly transient jobs and end up owning big assets at a taxpayer's expense. And for a $10,000 entry fee, that gets a little out of hand. I'm also concerned about affordable housing. Most part of the country is if you're going to rent an apartment, 20% of your income is affordable. Here we go 30%, and this is primarily because California's regulation process and taxes have gone overboard. I don't see this organization having any emphasis on jobs. We talked about having a range and a balance of different types of businesses. Well, just about every manufacturing job land, we had set aside a whole bunch of land for manufacturing jobs. It disappeared. And this is the #1 way for the poor to get out of the poverty and into the middle class. I don't see any emphasis on these growth areas. Instead, we're just making the problem worse. We have a need for jobs now. We don't have a need for housing now, except for truly affordable housing. I find paying $10,000 to have closed deals and biased presentations important. They will be unbiased in respect to broad-based, large interests, but I don't see it as being for small businessmen and for the citizen.
Thank you, Mr. Hunsaker. Yes, Director Hernandez.
Carl, and I'm going to repeat something, and if it's affirmative, you can just nod. As I think I heard your statement, the check that would be written as a board member is for $5,000, and then we could come together with your organization to do some kind of a forum on water where we host or sponsor whatever for the additional 5,000. And then we'll give you my Rolodex and good luck to finding 10,000 else, but we don't have to worry about the balance. And I'm getting head shake and a smile.
Or you could do 2,500 for water, we could get other sponsors, so if you didn't want to use the whole five, that's 5,000, you could do what you would like.
Thank you very much.
The answer to the question is yes.
Thank you.
Okay, well, it says here they're requesting the board's directions. I'm wondering what the board would like to do here.
I'm ready to make a motion to join the organization at the $10,000 level, understanding, of course, it's a check for 5, and we will come together for the other 5.
I'll second that.
Okay,
And we can
then-
discuss it.
Discussion.
Yes, Director Martin.
This is no reflection on anyone, it's just my honest feeling. I've been involved with this organization before, and it turned out to be loaded full of blanks. And I didn't hear anything tonight to really change that. It's what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do. It's not what we've done, what we've done, what we've done. You know, I hate to get another gun loaded with blanks, and nothing happens. I think that's a great idea that we could have a symposium on water, and I think Director Snella brought up the Chamber of Commerce, but I would beckon to say those 120, 130 people here for much less than $10,000, 100 people, whatever it was, were here, 95% were ratepayers in Vallecitos Water District. When you're now looking at a North County symposium, you have a much broader area. And I would feel more comfortable if we had other water agencies sharing that expense of doing the symposium. I have a problem with it, but why should we put it on for everybody in the area? And I have to tell you, back in the day when I was sold on that $20,000 for the other organization, we were told the same thing. Every city in North County is going to do it. Only 2 did it after a year and a half. So I've been here before. So I'm a little bit jaded. I mean, I've watched exactly what's happening now, happen before. And by the way, I will mention that the city never got its $20,000 back. So I'm just bringing that up and something to think about. I certainly hope things have changed and it'll work. And if one of our board members, I'm not ready to commit to 10 grand personally. I don't mind 5 grand and then see what flies. But 10,000, that's a lot of money for our repairs. That's a lot of money with not knowing what we're gonna get back, if anything. I've been there before. I saw the taxpayers of San Marcos paying 20,000. Different CEO, but same organization. So it really leaves me a lot of questions.
One second, are you finished?
For now.
Okay.
And I do understand, the fear of what the opportunity is in front of us. And that's why I wanted to clarify the last $5,000. Because I believe whether that 5,000 is what is brought together by us, or if we in fact are able to encourage some of our other water agencies in our area to participate, to help sponsor that, would be, that you don't care where it comes from as long as it's a sponsorship deal. I think this is all part of our outreach opportunity for our community, and we do have Escondido and we do have Carlsbad. I know it's only a small portion, but I do believe this is part of that. And This is a far different program tonight that I heard than last month when it was, you pay $10,000 and you get to sit on the board. So I am more encouraged tonight than I was, and that's why I made the motion. We'll see where it goes.
And I agree with Director Hernandez that what I've been hearing tonight, and also after I was appointed to represent this board to this group, I actually was proactive and went out and met with Karen and Carl to learn a little bit more about what they're doing and what their goals are. And I think we may be looking at this a little bit. This is not, we're not purchasing something, we're entering into a partnership. And I don't hear from them tonight, and I didn't hear from them when I sat down with them, that this is gonna be all black and white. I think we can come to some common ground. We have a couple other water agencies, including the Water Authority, that we may be able to partner with. They seem eager to engage the community more in water. To Director Hernandez's point, we actually have a very large portion of our customers that do live in Carlsbad. I know that because they're part of Division 4. And we also cover Escondido and Vista as well. So I definitely think that there's a lot of excitement that's going on within the San Diego North EDC, and that within this partnership, it could really be a positive experience both for the water district, but most importantly for our customers.
Thank you. I would like to make a few comments myself. I don't doubt at all that you are a good organization and that you have definite goals, Carl, to change the past performances. You speak very well for your organization and what your intentions are. My concerns are, as a board member for the Water District, our policy is, and I read it the last time, we need to support significant and meaningful links to the purpose and interests of the district that's applicable to what we do. Now, I understand that water is important to all the businesses, but I don't think if Vallecitos, Olevenhain, or any other water district did not join your organization, I believe that your responsibility to represent North County and make it grow, you will have to address the water issue, whether we're there or not. That's part of your commitment. Since I don't believe our water district's job is to, I think our job right now, especially with the drought, is incredibly focused on our water district and how can we reach our people. Now, you have people in there, I agree with you, but for the same amount of money, we could take and do a $2,500 water symposium for our ratepayers and the constituents that use our water, and try to make a difference in what they use and what our rates, how our rates will accelerate. For the $5,000, I know we could at least do 2, maybe 3 more of our Water Academy tours. I don't believe you've been on one. They're only 56 to 65 people at a time. But when we do that tour, those people come, they meet the district, they go to the facilities, they learn what it does, and then they take it home and they share it. We also could send out an extra one of our splash newsletters, which could be very specific on things we want, and it goes to 39,000 people. I know you had something in here with 10,000 or 5,000, but you're reaching a lot of people, one, that are gonna be businesses, and not everybody in the business is gonna read that. It's very much more specific, and it's not our ratepayers. So I have, and then the third thing is being on the Water Authority, which does love to support things. They support this at $1,500. That gives them an opportunity to put out a table, to be aware and to say, we're here if you need us to do a water forum or something about water, and we would be the same. We will do anything and everything to support you, but I do not believe that it's our responsibility, personally. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. I just don't think it's the responsibility of this board to do more than that. And I feel, what am I trying to say here? I'm trying to say that I can't support 10, and I don't believe I could even support 5 without full consensus is the best use of our money, and we're trying to do our conservation and reach our people and keep our rates down as it is. And I have a hard time looking at them and saying, is this what you'd want? Also, you made a very important, and I applaud you for your comment on what kind of a board member you're looking for. And you specifically said, I want a board member who will give me their time, travel, and treasures. Well, we have so much going on in this district, I'm not even sure that any of our board members can give you that. They'd want to try, I'm sure, but I worry about how much staff time and additional income goes to supporting a really dedicated director. Yes, please come forward, I can't, oh, time, talent.
Time, talent,
Oh,
and treasure,
talent,
not
I had
travel.
travel, sorry, it does say talent.
And so your talent and treasure is your understanding of the water system and the need. I think there's an opportunity to leverage your resources with us through the different vehicles. But it's ultimately your business decision. If you only feel comfortable at a $1,500 level or a $5,000 level or a $10,000 level, that's your business decision. I've laid out to you what we've done, and what I'll say, Mr. Martin, is it's not about what we're gonna do. I did talk about that, but the stuff that you saw on this slide and the things that we've done since I came here, we weren't doing any of that other than the annual business luncheon and the SEDS and POP prior to that. All of that rest of that is all brand new stuff. It's all new investors, new relationships, business journal, weekly pulse, 501c3, opportunity to go after grants. None of that was in place 24 months ago. So it's not all about talking about what we're gonna do. We've accomplished a lot in 24 months. We have transformed this organization. It is not the organization that you were a part of whenever you were a part of it.
Thank you. So we have a motion in front of us. I believe the motion, if I repeat it correctly, Director Hernandez, was to,
Participate at the $5,000 level and work with the organization to put together some kind of symposium for the balance.
okay, so we have a motion to participate with the San Diego North Economic Development Council business at a $5,000 level. It's been moved and seconded.
Can I ask for a roll call vote, please?
And yes, I was
Can I ask
going
for
to
a
say.
substitute motion?
Wait,
Wait. I was going to ask for a roll call, thank you, but
Substitute motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
The motion I'd like to make is that we go in as $5,000 partners, but if any of us do belong to the board, that they come back yearly with a detailed explanation of why the money we spent was wise and why it worked. And at least for a 2-year trial period, each year come back and explain why the money we spent was wise and should we continue. So evaluate it, give it 2 years to be able to evaluate it.
but my motion did not have a time, and
Right, mine
I
does.
would not support 2 years.
No, it's a substitute motion, you don't have to support it, you can vote
Okay.
against it.
All right.
You gotta get a second, though.
You need a second?
Need a second or it dies by itself.
I'll second the substitute motion.
okay.
Can I ask them to add something to that substitute?
Wait.
You know, I think it'd be,
First of all,
why don't we
You need to
do
go
this? I
call
think
for
it'll
the
be,
vote.
yeah, I think it'll be easier if you just call for the vote on the first one, and
Yes.
get that out of the
That's
way. and-
exactly, okay. So the motion we're going to vote on at this moment that is in front of us is we will support the San Diego North Economic Development Council membership at the $5,000 level. And it will be a roll call vote, please.
Director Oliver,
No.
Director Hernandez,
We're voting on the substitute or the
No, the
original?
first.
The original.
The original.
Your motion?
Yes.
Director Martin,
No.
Director Sinella.
Yes.
Director Evans.
No.
No, the
And
substitute
That
motion.
moving, that motion failed. So,
The
would you like-
substitute motion is the same motion with the addition of one of our people become a board member, that they report back to us every year and tell us what the accomplishments have taken to make this worthwhile for the board to continue doing it. And do that for at least 2 years, so we have a track record, we see how it's doing. Nothing else, just report back to us and show us why it's worth continuing giving our ratepayers money for this program. And it gives them a chance, I think, to show us what they're doing as well. Reality, jobs, housing, what they've done.
Thank you.
That's all.
And Do we have a second on that?
No,
But
We have a
wait, no, you may not. The general manager's had his hand up.
Just to clarify what the motion was by Director Martin, the board level, I believe, is the $10,000 level. It's 5,000 plus 5 somewhere else to allow somebody to sit on the board level. Just the 5,000 level does not provide the support to be a board member. Director Snell would just be our representative.
Is that your motion, Mr. Martin?
Just probably terms, want to make sure you understand. He wouldn't actually be on the board. He would just be the representative to SMEDC.
Were you familiar with
I'm
that?
trying to, I need an answer to the,
The motion has been made but not seconded, and the clerk
what,
would,
I think it was a second.
oh, it was seconded.
And that's
Oh,
why
I'm
this is the
sorry.
discussion, and I want a clarification of the motion with regard to what the general manager has just brought forward. So tell me again.
And I have to ask the general manager a question, if I may.
Yes, you may.
So my understanding was, I mean, I got it wrong from the info, it's 5,000, plus you agree to spend $5,000 off their menu of
Correct.
things you can do during the
So
year.
it's about a $10,000 investment to allow it to have a board member.
It's about a $10,000 investment.
If
Okay.
you approve just the $5,000 level, that does not provide the ability to get on the board.
Okay,
So he would just be, he being Director Snella, who is our appointee to the group, he would be the one reporting back to the board.
then I would amend my motion to be, I gotta think too much, support the $5,000 membership, agreeing if Mr. Sinella was asked to be on the board, and he was on the board, that we would have a menu that we could choose where else we wanted to spend $5,000. So it's a $10,000 commitment for 2 years, but with a report each year from Mr. Sinella as to why, and unbiased, and I think Mr. Sinella will do that, that's why he's on our board, and unbiased as what has it done for Vallecitos water ratepayers, the bottom line. And with that report, we can either say yay or nay to continue. And we know that he's gonna roll up his sleeves and spend all of his time with them and have no time left for us anymore, because he'll be too busy with them to do anything for us. And for him
That's
not-
more than a
Would you
motion,
like to make that
Director.
part of the motion?
Yes,
or- okay,
yes.
I would, I would like to amend the motion,
Please.
Okay.
if acceptable, that it's a one-year commitment with an opportunity to move to 2. So it's a one-year commitment based on.
And I'm sorry, that's what I meant.
Oh.
1 year commitment at a time, but a total of 2 years worth of
But we
commitment.
may. in
If we
fact-
decided.
Yeah, okay, thank you very
Yes,
much.
I'm
That's
sorry.
clarification. Thank you.
So if the second goes along with that, then we have a motion and a second.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have, the motion is that we would join at the $5,000 level.
No,
That wasn't
it
the motion.
can't.
No?
Agreeing to spend their $10,000, so I don't know what,
the
does
10,000
that mean
it's
he's
the
joining the
$10,000
$10,000?
It's the
$10,000
$10,000.
level.
Okay, agreeing that we'll spend an additional with them, and that'll be for the full board to attend many of their functions, if we want to, if we have the time and roll up our sleeves to do that.
Can you, and this is for 1 year?
For 1 year, and then for Mike to come back and give us all the reasons why we should stay with it next year, and then the following year after that. Just to show that something's happening there that's worthwhile.
Okay, that's motion. Do you understand what the motion is, council?
Yes, I think it's a one-year commitment with, to, at the $10,000 level, with the understanding that Director Snell will report back to the board on the success of the prior year.
May I ask a clarification of what you just said? I thought the motion said it was for 1 year with like an automatic renewal if it was good. But all of our other organizations, we are all obligated to report on what we do, and we review them every year. So is this a difference?
Well, I think there's an emphasis, I think is what
Okay.
we got, was an emphasis that whoever is assigned to serve on that board reports back to the board to consider the next year whether or not you're going to renew it
Okay.
at the same level.
Okay. And there was a second to the amended.
Was there?
I'm asking, are you agreeing to the second be amended now?
I'll second the amended
Okay.
motion.
Discussion?
All right, now, is there a discussion before the roll
Yes,
call
I
vote?
just wanted to say thank you, Director Martin, for clarifying that and reconsidering. And I would be more than happy to give an annual report, but I fully anticipate to report back any of our activities on a board meeting by board meeting case. And I do, I love your suggestion of allowing that second half of the partnership, it's not a donation, contribution, but the $5,000, I like the idea that you have where the board will evaluate what we as a group think would be the best way to put that money to use and do something special with it for our ratepayers.
Great, thank you.
Okay, roll call vote?
Director Oliver?
Yes.
Director Hernandez?
Yes.
Director Martin?
Yes.
Director Snell?
Yes?
Director Evans?
No. Okay, moving on, we are going to.
That was quick.
That was?
Thank you for the presentation.
Well,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
yes, thank you very
Great
much for your
presentation, Carl.
presentation. You did a good job.
Madam Chair?
Yes. Director.
This next item, 2.2, I have recently discovered that I have financial benefit occurring that could compromise, I guess that's, I don't know if that's the right term, but, so I'm going to have to recuse myself from this discussion, and I will remove myself to the lobby, and you can call me if you'd like when I'm done.
Thank you, okay, so one's recused, and I would like to take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.